hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Tianshi Club. How are y'all doing today? Oh, you know, how winky are we today? Hello, A-Fox. Welcome. Or dare I say it, possibly, daringly, shockingly, unexpectedly, just winky? You might be right, A-Fox. You might be right. Moinky, hello, White Bears. Welcome. Lion hugs. Oh, hello, Ajanka. How are you, little sister? Now, hello. Welcome. I am doing well. How are you? Today, I am having a... What do you call this? For lack of a better word, a matcha latte, I think is a common way of calling it. But it's just matcha, warm matcha with milk, so... matcha con leche. And sugar. There is sugar, I will admit. I've been quite the busy dad today. Oh yeah? Lots of busy things happening in the Rajanka nest. By golly, am I really? I am? How could I possibly have guessed? I don't know, A-Fox. It was quite a guess. It's very impressive. I have Black Friday shopping to do. Oh, wait, is it Black Friday? Wait. Monkey doesn't stream. Is it Friday? No, it's only... it's only either Tuesday or Wednesday, right? It's not end of the week yet. For a second, Monkey thought maybe today was Thursday. If today was Thursday, then it could also be Friday. But I don't think... I don't know. Or maybe it's always Friday somewhere? Monkey, hello, Dee! Doing okay, resting after school. Ah, that's nice. We'll listen to the stream and might comment occasionally. Good luck with the puzzles. Oh, thank you! Yeah, I hope you have a nice relaxation time. I have to get gifts for my kids, and I've been working tirelessly. Oh, I see. That's fun though. I would ask you what gifts, but maybe you don't want to spoil it, just in case, by putting it on the wide public internet. But yeah, that's a lot of fun. That's really nice. Oh, I'm doing my Black Friday early so I don't get trampled by the stampede of people. Oh, I see. That is important, actually. That makes a lot of sense to me. Monkey learned something recently that's really scary. I don't want to dwell on it too long because it actually makes Monkey uncomfortable, but it is an important warning about something that you might not know. So, for average-sized humans, for the humans used in whatever metric they're using, I don't know if this is like adult northern-style humans or, you know, male humans or female humans, but apparently, if you're in a crowd that is at the size of 4 people per square meter density, something like that. So just imagine a square meter and 4 people standing within there. You are at risk of a very scary phenomenon called crowd crush. The dangers of crowds are not just the fact that you might inadvertently get trampled underneath, that is definitely something to be careful about and be worried about. Or not be worried about, but be aware of so you can avoid. But just being in a dense crowd to begin with is very dangerous, because the forces can multiply across a crowd unintentionally, to such an extent that it puts a lot of pressure on. It can put a lot of pressure on the bodies of people inside the crowd, to the point of not being able to breathe. You know, like when you're constricted around your torso so much that you can't breathe. And if that pressure holds on for long enough, it can be fatal. So, I apologize for the dark topic right off the bat, but I was reminded of this because I didn't even know that was possible. I didn't know that was a thing that could happen. So I want to make sure that all of you are safe, and especially with this Black Friday, as Dajanka mentioned, coming up. I know this is a holiday where people like to crowd together, and so there's a higher risk. And so just be careful. Don't let yourself be put in a situation where the crowd is that dense, because without anyone knowing, without anyone noticing, this can happen. And so if you notice the crowd getting dense, the thing to do is to try to make your way out of it. If the crowd is moving in a certain direction, follow that direction, but strafe to the side as you move forward until you're at the edge of the crowd so that you can get away. Now, of course, this is dangerous. This is difficult even if you get to the side, there's walls. That's not gonna help, actually. That's gonna... Anywhere that's enclosed is gonna make this problem worse, because it's going to force hot pockets of density within the crowd, which then can travel through the crowd like waves. So, especially avoid large crowds in any place that is restricted, like where there's walls or barriers that could cause the crowd to constrict. So yeah, and that's the magic number that people have been putting out as in terms of like the point at which a crowd crush, as it's called, becomes actively a threat, like actively a potential, is 4 humans per square meter. And of course this is just a approximation, right? Because not all humans are the same size. But if it's starting to feel like that, just make sure to stay aware of your surroundings. Yeah, it can be difficult because if you can't breathe, you can't call out either, right? So you can't tell everyone, hey, this is a problem. And plus, if there's so many people, it can be difficult to coordinate if there aren't already facilitators posted in places where they can see and communicate with everyone. So be very careful, okay? Winky wants everyone to stay healthy. Alright. I don't have long, so I'ma snuggle up with no one. And want some peace and all. Oh, I am very cold and the day has been sucky. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, A-Fox. Oh, I understand. Well, you can snuggle up with yourself, can be comfy too. Get a nice warm blanket, maybe some pillows. Get yourself all comfy. I don't know if you have stuffed toys. Monkey loves stuffed toys, so I have lots of plushies. So sometimes snuggling with those helps. Or even just a pillow, snuggling with that gives you a bit of extra pressure. And then just get comfy. Put on some warm clothes. Monkey's been wearing indoor socks these days. Fuzzy socks, if you have that sort of thing. Something warm, like warm milk, warm hot chocolate could help. Get yourself nice and comfy and have some me time, as they call it. Do what makes you feel comfy, even if it sucks. Even if you feel sucky, you can be like, I feel sucky, and so I'm going to be a potato here now, and that will be good. I'm sorry today has been sucky for you, A-Fox. W? father in chat. Let's go. Congrats. Yeah, congrats. Children's are wonderful. At work, but listening. Hashtag love cancer. Oh, hello, Ryder. Welcome. Okay. Sounds good. I'm glad to have you. It's America's stampedes during the holidays are common. Oh, it's America's stampedes during the holidays are common. Really? That's really scary. That's scary. Be careful out there. If it was monkey, I'd probably just avoid altogether those kinds of situations. It's not worth it, you know? Monkey's not a risk-taking monkey. I don't really wanna be in something so potentially dangerous, you know? I can wait for there to be no crowds. Is that E? Great monkey equals heaven? Yes, no. No. I am not Tian Dasheng. No, that is a monkey king. I am just monkey. Hello, Shatter. Welcome. How are you doing today? Oh, I just realized my on-screen chat box isn't working again today, huh? Well, we'll see. We'll see if it'll fix itself eventually. Luckily, I can still see all of you. Well, crowds are actually dangerous. Introverts rise up. It's true. Well, dense crowds. Normal crowds are okay. There's always gonna be dangers when you go outside, right? There's always gonna be dangers, even when you stay inside. There's always dangers, but the risk becomes too high for Monkey to recommend when the crowd gets very dense. So, just look out for that kind of thing. Yeah, the weather was really bad today. Oh, there was so much rain and wind that my school had to issue an extreme weather warning. Oh, They have a stuffed panda from when I was young, and it holds emotional value. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, that's the best. Oh, Monkey likes panda. Panda is very, very special to Monkey too. Not in the same way, but that's great. Well, I hope you feel nice and cozy and warm inside now as you warm up and dry. It's one of those things where sometimes once you get out of it, then you can hear the wind and rain going crazy outside, but you know you're inside now. You're warm, you're dry, or you're warming up at least. And then it starts to get cozy. How are things going today? Hello, Hemoglobin. Welcome. For Monkey, things are pretty good today. Let me think. Monkey's been having a lot more warm milk drinks recently. It's really nice. It's really good for the cold weathers. I also have a large Hedwig pillow from Harry Potter. Oh, that's nice. Oh, how cute. Monkey likes owls too. Owls are pretty cute. That's wonderful. Yeah, get nice and cozy. That sounds pretty good, eh, Fox? It's Monkey. Hello, Rin-chan. Welcome. What is this emoji? I have never seen it before. How does that work? Where did that come from? I don't know how that works. Fascinating. Hello, Rin-chan. Welcome. It's good to see you. We're doing alright. Oh, good to hear. Working on some big plans and small projects. Oh, I hope you're doing well. That's exciting. Wow. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing more about how that goes, Shatter. Oh, very exciting. I'm doing pretty well. Speaking of big plans and small projects, Monkey's been very busy as usual. But I think I found a time I can carve out on my calendar to finally get that 300 subs karaoke done. And it might be super scuffed, and I may not have a set list, and it may just be... We'll just see what happens. But yeah. I'm gonna aim for a certain date. And you'll hear it here first. I haven't announced it yet, but hopefully I'll announce it soon. Monkey needs to be more on top of things. But I think I can reserve in fact, exactly 1 month from now. So if you're on this side of the date line, that's not how it works. That's not how time works. Oh, Simno Pity Hype. If you are... So if for you today it is November 15th, then it will also be November 15th. No, not November 15th. December 15th. So exactly 1 month from today, which should be a Thursday. If for you today it is already December 16th, then... Wait, that's wrong. If it's December 16th, then it'll be December 16th. But if it's November 15th for you, it might end up being December 16th for you. Simply because... Sorry, I'm making this too complicated. But I'm thinking that I'll do the karaoke at our old stream time. Just as sort of a nod to the fact that the majority of these subs were when I was streaming at that time. And so I will reserve that time. So it'll be later than it is today by a few hours or so, something like that. So how many hours? Like 6 hours later? I don't know. Somewhere around that old stream time. I'll put it... when I make the official announcement, I'll put the information there. But you can expect that in about a month. Hopefully. You know what? Rain or shine, as they say. I plan to do it at that time. If something really big comes up and Monkey can't do it, then I will change it. But otherwise, that's what I'm doing. So, expect to see something about that soon, maybe. Yeah, but it will be scuff, but it will be there. And other small announcement is that, as some of you may have seen, YouTube changed its community tab requirements, and therefore, Monkey has a community tab. I am now able to make posts and announcements on YouTube. I am so excited. This is so important to Monkey. I mean, just because it's important to Monkey because it feels weird that I stream on YouTube, but everything that I announce has to be on a different platform. So you have to like follow me on multiple platforms if you want to see it and stuff. It just gets very confusing. And so now now maybe it's even more confusing for Monkey, because now I have 3 platforms that I need to make announcements on, which are YouTube, Twitter, and Discord. But at least some of those announcements are on the platform that I stream on now, so that's really nice. So I put up I put up 1 community post so far to say hello. But anything big I think I'll put on there, like the karaoke stream and stuff, and like stream cancellations, maybe that kind of stuff. That way, when you're in YouTube, you can just see it without having to hop around to other places. We'll see how that goes. I mean, this is my first time using it, but I'm excited. Let's see. Hi everyone, glad I could catch the stream. Jero, welcome back, Geronimo. Good to see you. It's been a little while, hasn't it? How are you doing? Been busy with medical checkups. Oh, I see. just had a nutrition checkup earlier today. Whoa. My whole system got messed up after my surgery. Oh no. So I got some recommendations to get everything back in order. Oh. I see. I'm sorry to hear that, Geronimo. But hopefully the surgery itself went well. And I'm glad you're getting some recommendations for how to get things back in order. Monkey understands. It sucks when you feel like your whole body's gone out of whack. And I feel like when some part of your body goes out of whack, sometimes everything else does too, and it's really frustrating. And I know that's a frustrating state to be in. I'm sure it's uncomfortable too. But I hope that little by little, these little suggestions, as you put them into play, you find that some of them help in making things better and get you back to a place where you feel more in balance. Pandas are so cute. Bears are adorable. They are! Pandas are some of the best bears because their faces are so round. Okay, I'm not judging bears. All bears are good bears. But one of a panda's key cuteness points is that its face is so round, which Monkey finds hilarious. And the reason its face is so round is actually it's all muscle. It's all muscle because they have to eat bamboo all day. I don't know if any of you have tried eating mature bamboo. I mean, bamboo shoots are one thing, but mature bamboo, oh my goodness. It's a crunch. It's wood. It's just wood. And they have to eat so much of it. Imagine how tired your jaw would get. And so they evolved round, adorable faces. Monkey likes round heads. And what other random panda facts did Monkey learn? Pandas have a lot of fur on the bottom of their feet, I think. Something like that for holding on in the mountains. And of course they have the false opposable thumbs, kind of like us monkeys. I mean, kind of like us primates. Because you humans have them too, though not as many. Pandas also don't have as many. I think it's only on their forepaws, not on their... forepaws, not on all four paws. It's on their front paws, not their back paws. They have this... It's not actually a real thumb like us primates have. What they have, they do have 5 digits, 5 fingers, and they all are to this opposable modified wrist bone is what I hear it's called. So actually, if you look at a panda, and maybe this is why their paws are so big and cute as well, is they have 5 non-thumb fingers that then wrap around and then can touch the opposable modified thumb-like wrist bone to grab things. It's a little hard to describe, but next time you look, count how many fingers a panda has. And the teeth imply that originally pandas did eat meat, and in fact they still have all of the machinery in their body to consume and eat meat if they wanted to. But they actually don't have a strong drive to do so, because pandas, I would say unfortunately, but I guess if you can't sense something, you don't know what you're missing out on. Pandas can't really taste umami, the sort of savory flavor that you get from things like meat. For whatever reason, they can't really taste it. So meat doesn't really appeal to them anymore. They just want their bamboo. What else? Lots of things. Alright, I should stop tangenting about pandas, because it looks like I'm getting far behind chat. Although the only problem with the panda is that I have cuddled him so much he's all raggedy. No worries, A-Fox. That monkey understands too, because I cuddle my stuffed toys as well. But you know what? That raggediness is part of its wabi-sabi character. It's part of the patina that comes from loving your stuffed toys, and it shows how much they've been loved. It shows how much they've been cuddled and how long they've been with you. In some ways, Monkey finds that beautiful, you know? There's the beautiful, fresh, soft, new stuffed toys, and then there's the beautiful, like, kind of raggedy, still kind of plush, maybe a little bit worn, a little bit, maybe even a little bit darkened, but like homey looking, comfy looking, familiar looking stuffed toys. It's a bit late in the day for coffee, but I'm having some anyways because I need the warmth. Oh, I understand, Hemoglobin, I understand. Monkey sometimes has tea. Tea will be warm, and has less caffeine or no caffeine if you're doing a non-tea tea, like an herbal tea. Monkey recently wanted something warm, but it was late, so I just had warm milk. Warm milk was really nice. No sugar even, just warm. What else does Monkey do? I've had... Sometimes, when it's really cold, Monkey just takes a hot shower or a hot bath. That'll really warm up your body. It's really nice when it's cold out. And sometimes Monkey just drinks hot water. When I don't really feel like drinking anything flavored, I just want something warm. Just hot water can be very nice. Sadly, I have to go now. Oh, okay, Fox. Oh, I'm so behind. I'm sorry. You might have already left. Oh. My stay with now was short. Hope you all have a nice day. Well, I'm glad you were able to drop by, Fox. I hope your day gets better, comfier, cozier, more relaxed. Maybe I may return later, but probably not. Okay. Well, whether you return or not, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, chat. Bye, Fox. Karaoke ice. Karaoke. Yeah. We might do this, like, straight up karaoke style, where Monkey's like, I don't know what I'm gonna sing. Let's just figure it out and grab random tracks and see how that goes. In which case, we'll have to see if I end up unlisting it or not. Because I won't be able to guarantee how many of these tracks can stay up. But maybe we'll do it that way. I don't know how much time I'll have to prepare within the next month for the karaoke, but Monkey wants to sing. Monkey likes singing. So let's do some singing, huh? Karaoke with Monkey. Monkey. Ah, my stutter. It's okay. I understand. Monkey, I almost thought you were making a pun. Cause koi, like, I, like, love. Monkey. But I guess it doesn't have two eyes. The answer uses confusion. The secret is Monkey is constantly using confusion on myself. Constantly, perpetually confused. Not rain, nor snow, nor sleet, nor shine shall stop Monkey karaoke. Oh. Nice. What is that? I've heard this. It's like the Pony Express slogan or something, right? Or the mailman will not be stopped. I wonder if it would be possible to set up a bot to mirror announcements made on one platform to the other too. You know, Hemoglobin, I do believe that it is possible. Monkey just hasn't really looked into it much. I know for sure there are paid services that will let you do that kind of thing. Consolidated. But Monkey doesn't have a lot of money. So I don't want to use any paid services. And if I were to make something myself, I'd have to deal with all sorts of keys and stuff probably. And I don't know if I know enough about security for that to be safe. And I suppose the other thing is, sometimes the platforms have slightly different things you can do, like in terms of posting images or stuff. Though actually mostly it's the same. The main thing is that Twitter has a character limit, so that needs to be broken into posts, which I try to hope look readable. Actually, I already have something that mirrors all of my tweets, or I guess it doesn't mirror, it forwards? I don't know what you say. All of my tweets to Discord, for example. There's a bot that just picks those up. You can see in the Discord on the bulletin board, that's why there's a monkey tweets section. But since not all tweets are announcements, I don't necessarily want all of those to go to the announcements part of the bulletin board. So if there were a nice way to toggle which ones are announcements and which ones should go under tweets, that would be nice. Plus, it doesn't look very good because it's mostly just a link to the tweets. And so they're not super easy to read and sometimes get cut off. And so that's why I double up on the announcements and post them separately. But there's probably a way. You are now getting me thinking. You've got me thinking. I will think about it. Hi Monkey, how's it going? Hello Best Squid, welcome. I'm doing pretty well, how about you? It's been cold lately, but Monkey's finding ways to keep warm. Yesterday was especially cold, but today is not so bad so far, for Monkey at least. Hot take, as bears, pandas aren't very good. Oh, they're fine bears. They're wonderful bears. What do you mean? They're wonderful. They're good bears. All bears are good bears. Attempts to consume mature bamboo will not go well for a human. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think humans can do that. It would probably be very uncomfortable and then maybe wreak havoc on your insides. Do not recommend. I wonder though, if Monkey transformed into a panda, could I eat bamboo? Monkey will have to experiment. Monkey never thought about this before. Can transforming into different animals allow Monkey to enjoy different types of culinary? Huh. That's exciting. I've never thought about that. My transformation skill's not that good, so I haven't really. But now I have more incentive to practice transforming. Right now, the only thing I can reliably transform into is this form. And even that, there was a little hiccup once, as some of you might remember. Let's see. Panda mating season is once every 4 years. Oh, is that confirmed, Mongoose? I never really asked a panda, but that doesn't make too much sense to Monkey, but I guess it's possible. A 4-year cycle seems very unusual because how would you even keep that cycle? And what if your cycle was off from the other pandas around you? Pandas need a lot of personal space because they have to eat so much. You can't have pandas packed very densely. Their food source doesn't allow it. And so their territories tend to be very wide. So I imagine that the likelihood of coming into contact with another panda is relatively infrequent. And so if if that's the case, then only being able to breed on a 4-year cycle, and everyone else being that too, but not necessarily synced up, would seem almost like what do you call it? Like a death sentence for the species, I suppose. Though maybe I just don't understand enough about panda territory. On the other hand, I could see it being a common misconception that pandas only mate once every 4 years. Whereas it's becoming more clear that pandas are very particular about when they mate. And to give you an example, let's say you took 2 human beings, you grabbed them out of the wild, so like off the streets of, I don't know, New York or India or somewhere. Grab them off the streets, and then you put them in this confined space that they're unfamiliar with someone of the compatible gender. Yeah, like they're compatibly gendered to have babies. And you just kind of lock them up and shove food under the doors and observe them and that sort of thing. I don't know if those 2 humans would mate. If you were one of those humans, would you mate? You were in this, unfamiliar space with aliens giving you food, and don't really have the amount of space that you're used to having, because pandas have very wide ranges, like I mentioned, so it feels kind of cramped, like you're in a little closet. And you don't know this other person who's with you either. You never met him before. Not even sure if you get along. I feel like under those circumstances, I don't think a lot of animals would feel comfortable, right? And so, if you're very particular about your mating conditions, it's very likely that you'll be like, no, I'm not interested. That's not what I'm about right now. At the very least, there's more and more evidence that that's part of why humans have found it very difficult to get pandas to breed in captivity. It's because they just don't feel for lack of a better word, they don't feel sexy when they're in captivity. Which is understandable, right? Yeah. It's not the best conditions for raising children either. You don't think they'll have enough space. A lot of animals, if they don't think there's enough resources for having children, they kind of stop having children. It's like carrying capacity, right? Have you heard about carrying capacity? It's not necessarily always a conscious choice by the animals, but generally, once an area has reached the point where the population is as big as it can support, it just kind of tapers off there. It stops growing. I don't know. This is all Monkey's conjecture, though. I have no idea. I'm not up to date on panda mating news. Best part of the whole medical situation has been that now I am obligated to eat peanuts during every meal, and I could not be happier. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Monkey's also a big fan of peanuts. Is there a certain type of a certain way of eating peanuts that you enjoy the most? Like a dry roasted peanut, or like stirred into your food, or mashed, or into like a paste, or I think boiled peanuts have this really interesting soft texture that I really like in desserts. Peanuts are pretty good. It's like, oh darn, I guess I have to eat more peanuts. It's one of the carpal bones, right? Yes, I believe so. I believe that's what the wrist bones are, carpal bones. Strange panda facts. Hello and welcome to Panda Facts. To unsubscribe, press N. I could evolve more carnivorous habits, or a digestive tract more suited to bamboo. Nah, I'll just have a fake thumb to shove more junk food in. Yeah! Yeah! It's interesting because we don't really know the order of events as to how pandas ended up the way they are, right? It's really curious. Because there must have been a strong drive, a strong reason to do so. Maybe it's just because bamboo forests in the past were extremely abundant in the areas where pandas live. Bamboo is actually a grass. And it's a grass that grows really well on its own. If you just leave it by itself, it'll grow like crazy. And very few anything is equipped to harness the nutrients within those fully grown stalks. And so there was a niche there to be filled. And for whatever reason, the one to fill it ended up being the panda. And I don't know how that happened, but they found it, and it was more abundant perhaps than whatever they had been eating before, and so they ate it. And I wonder if they lost their taste of umami before or after that. Maybe after, maybe before, maybe it was at the same time, and the pandas that could eat bamboo because they didn't prefer meat were the ones that survived longer. I don't know. But back in the day, eating bamboo, despite needing to eat a lot of it and just sit around all day, was actually a very viable survival strategy. And honestly, if you could just sit around all day munching, wouldn't you? Nobody messed with panda, so... Panda too big, too strong. Just let it sit and peacefully eat. So it seems like a good life, to be honest. It's the recent deforestation that's been really hard on pandas because they are basically a lot of species out there. I forget what it's called when you only have one primary food source. They're heavily reliant on the abundance of bamboo forests. It felt like something that would never change, right? Sometimes you make some decisions in your life, and you make those decisions assuming something will never change. Like the sun will always come up again. But then what if it stops, right? Then what do you do? So poor pandas. They made a bet on something that seemed pretty what's the word? Secure at the time. But now it's getting a little difficult. Obligate herbivores are very rare indeed. I think the only one I've heard of is the koala. That's true. Obligate carnivores are also very rare, in fact. Most animals that are called carnivores, we simply call them that because they have adaptations that make hunting possible, right? Like sharp claws, sharp teeth. So because of that, and because they do eat meat, we call them carnivores. But the majority of carnivores don't actually eat more than like 40% of their diet in meat, I guess, in animal matter, and the rest tends to be plant matter and other things. Even bears, the carnivorous bears, only eat like 40 to 60% of their diet in meat. Obligate carnivores are like cats, which is very rare, but cats are obligate carnivores. They need to eat meat. But not everyone. Most of us are somewhere in the omnivorous zone. No, by all means, we appreciate the pandemonium. Pandemonium. Ah, I see. At Shatter, that was unbearable. Unbearable. Oh dear. On the contrary, I can always grin and bear it when talking about pandas. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. No matter what you choose to sing, I'll be there with light sticks in hand, Mama. Oh, thank you, Shadow. Thank you, thank you. It's the courier's oath, yeah. Ah, courier, that's the word. I like that. Courier's oath. Hello. Ah, hello, Murky Water. Welcome, welcome. The legend of Chibinao. The legend. Don't ask the pandas. One of the difficult parts of keeping panda numbers up is they don't know their own mating ritual. Oh. Well, that makes sense too if you were raised in captivity, right? Imagine you were plucked out of your life by aliens before you learned anything about how to mate. Because, you know, pandas, they are relatively solitary, right? So before you learned anything about how any of that works, you got plucked away. And then what? Then what would you do? I don't know. Monkey probably wouldn't even know it was possible. That explains why... What's it? Excuse my language, but apparently showing pandas panda porn in captivity made their incidence of mating more common, higher? Maybe partially because they're like, oh, that's what that feeling's about. If I feel like this, then I could do that. Oh, I hadn't thought about that. Because, like, why would you even think about it? Maybe this is a very monkey thing to say, but, like, how would you even know what to do if no one told you, right? Like, what? Oh. Plus, I guess that's the purpose of pornography too, is to sort of get ya in the mood. Even in captivity. Oh, strange. Monkey's just glad I'm not in that situation myself. It sounds kind of sucky, to be honest. And I understand that part of it is for conservation effort. That's why we're trying so hard. It's just perhaps a bit misguided, right? That's why open range reservations and stuff are becoming more common for animals that we know have wide territories. Like Big Cat Rescue, they have like a huge territory, and they're trying their best to try to make it more comfortable for the animals. So, since it is a rescue after all. Hey, Moiki-san. Morning chat. Hello, Eduardo. Welcome. I know I was in groceries. Oh, and got some ponzu queijo, of course. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. That sounds so good. Oh, man. It's been too long since Monkey had ponzu queijo. Oh, I want. I think I still have some tapioca flour. Maybe if I go out, I'm gonna go out and buy some cheese. Maybe I'll make some myself. Around here, it's hard to buy from the grocery and stuff, so Monkey makes my own. Though honestly, the homemade ones cannot be beat in Monkey's opinion. The grocery store stuff, and even some of the like buy it at a store stuff. It's not what the disadvantage that it has is that in Monkey's opinion, ponzu queijo tastes the best right after being freshly cooked from raw dough. Immediately out of the oven. They have that wonderful tapioca mochi texture. Oh, yeah. And of course, making things at home, you can always make it to your own taste, right? So Monkey makes the balls the perfect size for Monkey to bite into. My favorite size. But all ponzu queijo is good. I've had little ones that were frozen and then you heat up in the oven, and I've had some that you get in a bag from like a stand and you munch on them while you're out. And it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Highly recommend. Not too hard to make as long as you have the machines and or lots of muscle power. the female panda only ovulates once every 4 years. Wow, that's really interesting. I wonder if that does have to do with trying to keep the population density low, in fact. Because that way they can still, you know, do mating stuff all they want, but they're only rarely gonna have that turn into babies. That actually makes sense. That actually makes sense in terms of, instead of it being like a cultural thing, where every panda only only feels like mating every 4 years, is that the female pandas are only capable of having children every 4 years. I could kind of see that. Kind of like humans, but humans don't have a cycle so much, I guess. It's just that I think it's generally uncommon to be able to have another child like when you're already pregnant. Well, I guess that's true for most animals. I don't know. Well, not true for most animals, I guess. I wonder. Anyway. So the problem is we need more exhibitionist pandas. I guess so! No. I'm sure the other thing is, if you're comfortable, I'm sure you figure it out in time, right? Like, since pandas are relatively solitary, they must just figure it out in time through social contact and their own stuff. But actually, maybe not though. Maybe you learn from other pandas who come and they already know and they're like, hey, there's this thing we can do, it's a lot of fun. I wonder. Friendly reminder to all of the cuties here of the tea call. Put in live chat. Oh yes, if you're missing messages, make sure your chat is set to live chat. It might look like it's set to live chat, but actually be set to top chat, set to live chat. Thank you, Enhiki. Helpful reminder. Does peanut butter count? Peanut curry is delicious. Oh, yeah, Monkey likes peanut butter. I'm not sure if I've had a peanut curry. I might have had a curry with peanuts, but I'm not sure. Sounds delicious. Usually I mash them and sprinkle them on the food. But other times I just kind of throw them in there and eat them the normal way. That's nice. Nice and crunchy. I doubt a crocodile will order the salad. Crocodiles, huh? You know, crocodiles, I wouldn't be surprised if they're obligate carnivores. They act like obligate carnivores. I don't know, to monkey. Now I'm gonna look it up. Crocodile. What do you eat? Crocodile. Taxonomy, phylogeny, species list. That's pretty short. Oh, this is Crocodylinae. Crocodylinae is a subfamily of true crocodiles within the family. Okay. Let's click on the Six Sister taxon. I just want to know crocodile. Wikipedia, why crocodile? There we go. This is the page. Crocodile. Biology and behavior, sentence, hunting and diet. Ambush predators. Very acidic stomach apparently. Symbiotic with certain birds. Slow metabolism. Yeah, they seem pretty slow metabolism. Let's see. Carrion. They steal carrion. Evidence suggests that crocodiles also feed upon fruits, based on the discovery of seeds in stools and stomachs for many subjects, as well as accounts of them feeding. So they may not be fully obligate carnivores, though in fact even cats, which are obligate carnivores, it's still helpful for them to get some of the nutrition from non-animal matter. They just tend to get it from the stomachs of their prey. It's half pre-digested. And then additionally, maybe like munching on grasses just for the fiber, which is not necessarily nutritional, but helpful. So I wonder what amount of plant matter crocodiles intentionally eat and how much they need. It doesn't seem to be very clear on here. We just know about their hunting habits so far. I suppose that would be a hard thing to study. You just have to follow a crocodile and try to see when it's munching. My knowledge of pandas was they eat bamboo and exist. These are important facts. After this, I have become an absolute panda lore master. Panda lore master. Oh dear, oh dear. Y'all ever hear tell of the panda with no name? Oh. I was walking through the desert with a panda with no name. I don't even know that song that well. No. What's their name? No. Right? He walked into a saloon one day, ordered a snack. When the bartender asked for money, the panda shot him and walked out. Oh no! I think I've heard this one. Can confirm, getting caged is probably isn't the best. Getting caged in probably isn't the best time. Thank you for the confirmation from the human perspective shatter. I appreciate that. Yeah, it doesn't seem like the best time. I'm now upset. I can't actively. I'm so upset I can't actively talk right now. Have you got a lot to say on this topic, Ryder? I'm curious to hear, but if you're busy, you're busy. I understand. I look forward to hearing it later if you remember. If you can remember later what you were wanting to say. Okay, there we go. I asked why it happened, and an old man handed me a dictionary with a bookmark. On the marked page, highlighted was panda, large mammal, eats shoots and leaves. That's what it says. Large mammal, eats shoots and leaves. I remember this joke. It's pretty good. The only I cooked myself was without salt. Oh! And I overcooked. Oh! Yeah, it didn't went well. Oh! It happens. Sounds like you might have been a little distracted at the time. It's one of the things about cooking. Sometimes you get distracted and it becomes a problem. Well, if you ever try it again, good luck. If you like cooking, I think it's a worthy endeavor. Especially because you can freeze your own too. Just like the ones from the grocery store. You can freeze your own and have them fresh later too, so... Monkey's gonna have to remember to grab some cheese so I can make... Oh, monkey big brain facts. No. Just monkey brain facts. But if a panda learned from other panda, who teach the other pandas? It's a bit of a chicken and egg problem, right? Any sort of generational knowledge like that, I think they call it, is hard to pin down, but it builds up over time, right? You kind of have to wonder, where did it start? But maybe back when it started, we were so different that we learned it some other way, you know? Like there's a lot of things that humans know just being passed down, right? Like language, right? If you have to learn language from other humans, who taught language to everyone else, right? But instead, it's just something you pick up from being around other humans, right? Like, Monkey didn't learn English formally. I just learned it from being around people who speak English. And other languages I did learn formally, but English was not one of them. That's why I consider it one of my native languages, like my monkey languages. And cat language. I studied a little bit of cat language, but a lot of it I also just picked up on my own. The seeds might have been in the stomachs of the croc's prey. Yeah, exactly, right? Same thoughts. What did they say? Something minds think alike. Great minds think alike. Fools seldom differ. Fools seldom differ. I just realized we have a fool in chat. Can confirm? Question mark? Can you confirm? I don't know. I only know our best fool, so. But aren't most reptiles carnivores? Maybe I'm wrong. Like snakes or frogs and geckos who eat bugs. And then someone comes say frogs aren't reptiles. I guess that's true, Hiki. Frogs are amphibians, I think? Reptiles and amphibians might not be as closely related as they look. Because reptiles are apparently very closely related to birds, I think it was? We at first thought they were closer to amphibians, but they're probably closer to birds. But yeah, that's a thing. I do think you're right that a lot of them eat how you say? A lot of them eat a lot of bugs and stuff. But I think I don't know about most. I know I know turtles eat herbivorously. Herbivorous? I don't know. Frog. Maybe it depends on the frog. Or it depends on the snake. Snakes are obligate carnivores, I would bet. Let me look this up. Snack biology, snack behavior, feeding and diet. Strictly carnivorous. So yeah, snakes are strictly carnivorous. Hypercarnivore. Oh, a hypercarnivore is an animal that has a diet more than 70% meat, either via active predation or by scavenging. Okay, so who counts? Crocodilians. Okay, so crocodiles are hypercarnivores, not necessarily obligate carnivore, which is a little different. Obligate carnivore means that you require meat to survive, I suppose. Obligate carnivore. Diet requires nutrients found only in animal flesh. Ah, I see. So it doesn't mean you have to eat 100% meat. Just that your diet requires at least some amount of meat. Oh, so apparently obligate carnivores, they include cats, right? All kinds of cats. Domestic cats, lions, etc. But guess who else is in this group? Axolotl. They're so cute, those little babies. By babies, I literally mean babies. Axolotls are literally neotenous salamanders, meaning that they're like baby form. That's what neotenous means. They're baby form salamanders. They're salamanders that look like the babies of salamanders in general. Like they never grow into adults. And in fact, if you give them hormones, you can force them to turn into adult-shaped salamanders, which is very strange. They're not supposed to do that naturally. So, yeah, they don't do the metamorphosis that they're supposed to do, that most salamanders do to become adults. And anyhow. Anyhow, apparently they need the worms and larvae. If necessary, will consume algae, but they need the meats. Whereas hypercarnivores, which I believe cats are hypercarnivores and obligate carnivores, eat more than 70% meat, including crocodilians, owls, Shrikes. A shrike. Oh, I didn't know about shrikes, but they're cute. They're a type of bird. Eagles, vultures, felids, that's the cats. Canids, most wild canids, in fact. But I don't think all, because I think domestic dogs... Oh, I guess that's why they say wild. Domestic dogs do not eat that much meat or don't need that much meat in their natural diet. I'm not sure, though. Canids, dolphins, snakes, spiders. Spiders make sense. Scorpions make sense. Mantises, marlins, groupers, piranhas, and most sharks. That's a list. An example list of animals where their typical diet is more than 70% meat. Let's see. Oh, fascinating, fascinating. Yeah. Let's see. The most highly carnivorous bear is the polar bear. The polar bear is like the opposite of the panda. The panda grew up in a place where bamboo was super abundant, you would never run out of it, but meat was hard to come by. Polar bears are the opposite. Plant matter is really hard to come by, so meat it is. So more than 90% of its diet is meat. That's very uncommon. Whereas the grizzly bear, for example, has less than 10% of its diet being meat. So even the number I gave you earlier, 40%, that was way off. Less than 10% of a grizzly bear's diet is meat, even though we consider it a carnivore. Is it an obligate carnivore, I wonder? Let's see, diet. Grizzlies, normally omnivores. The digestive system of carnivores, I think literally just means they're able to digest meat. Because some people can't digest meat. In fact, humans are very omnivorous. And so if you don't grow up eating meat, sometimes there are certain meats that you just cannot digest comfortably. You form a bit of an intolerance. Let's see. Scavenge. Fishes. Let me see if it has the word obligate here. Obligate? Doesn't say. So I don't know. But they don't eat a lot of meat. Alright. Back on track. I mean, I eat grass-fed beef. But do you eat the grass that was in its stomach? That's the question. Do humans do that actually? I know that humans in a lot of cultures tend not to eat certain parts of the offal, certain parts of the organ meat. I know there are a lot of organs that you do eat, and then there are organs that you do not eat. So historically, yeah, like offal you can eat, intestines you can eat, that sort of thing. But I've heard that, for example, fish guts, for whatever reason, you don't eat. I don't know much about why. And maybe certain organs you're not supposed to eat? I don't really know. This stream has been so fun to listen to. Oh, I'm glad you think so, Ryder. We were technically supposed to be playing a game which has not yet been booted up, even though it's been over an hour. But we're not gonna worry about that. Monkey's been having fun. Maybe I should go back and change the title of this stream. Oh dear. Hello, I'm a fool. Hello! Not sure about that best part though. Oh. Don't worry, Shatter. You may not be sure, but I am sure. Does kind of make you wonder who discovered mating in general. Yeah, right? Like who? Why? Like he just goes, Dave! You will not believe what I just discovered! It's the weirdest thing! Monkey also wonders how much of the knowledge of what's going on there, like when did that become a thing, right? Like maybe maybe back in the day, babies were just a thing that happened. We didn't really know why, but like little by little, pattern matching and all that, we're like, oh, I think I know what's happening here. I think something about this is making that happen, you know? Monkey always wonders a little bit about that. I think there's a reason why, in a lot of cultures, in a lot of human cultures, as far as Monkey has learned, female-bodied people are strongly associated with magic. 'Cause, like, just sometimes they bleed, and then, eventually, if they stop bleeding, a baby pops out. Like, it's crazy, right? It's crazy stuff. And so female-bodied people were associated with magic. In certain cultures, intersex people were also associated with magic. Also probably just due to like the mystical quality of just like not being what you might expect. And when I say magic, I mean good magic. I know there's connotations on both sides. There are some magics that's like are considered like, oh, not good magic, scary magic. But then there's also good magic, like life-giving magic, right? And in both of these cases, I mean associated with the good magics, the ones that we don't quite understand. We know something is happening, and there's some sort of system to it, but we don't understand it. That's the kind of magic that Monkey's talking about. And I believe when I say a lot of cultures, Monkey doesn't know all the human cultures, right? There are too many human cultures to know. But Monkey's heard about this coming from, I think East Asian, like Chinese culture. There's sort of a mysticism there, as well as one that I heard very strongly actually that is sort of a semi-surviving culture is Norse culture. In Norse culture, I think women were strongly associated with magic. I don't know too much about it. I'd love to learn more. Yeah, Batrachians specifically. What are Batrachians? The gills never internalize. Ah, yes, exactly. Batrachia are a clade of amphibians that includes frogs and salamanders, but not caecilians, nor the extinct allocaudans. This is some real biology stuff right here. Batrachian, a tailless amphibian of the order Anura, a frog or a toad. Oh, that's cool, that's cool. Oh, I see, so that's the frogs. The gills never internalize. Yeah! Which is why they have that really cute frill. Monkey has a very personal relationship to to axolotls in a way. In the similar way to as Afox was talking about having a panda plush. Monkey didn't have an axolotl plush, but you know, Monkey throughout my life here and there, sometimes does this happen to you guys? Has this ever happened to you? Sometimes someone who you know gives you a gift and they're like, you're gonna love this. And you look at it and you're like, oh, what? What made you think I would love this? Not necessarily that you like that it's a bad gift, but you're like, what does this mean you think of me? This is one of those instances where Monkey was I was just at my computer desk doing my own monkey thing. And one of my papas came by. This papa in particular, he really liked reading all sorts of science magazines and things like that. And so, I guess he had been reading some sort of science nature-y magazine. And he came by with a clipping from it. And he said, here, this is for you. I was confused. And he gave it to me. And it was a picture of an albino axolotl staring right into the camera with that smiley face. and smiley face they have on that's really emphasized when they're albino. Staring right at me. And I had never seen an axolotl before. I had no idea what they were. He was like, "Here, this was cute, so I thought you would like it." I was like, oh, thank you. I guess. I had no idea because axolotls, their cuteness is a very strange sort of cuteness, right? The first time you encounter it, at least for monkey, I was taken aback. I was like, what? What is this? I thought to myself, what made you think this one in particular, for this monkey in particular, right? Like, why this picture made you think, I think Noah would like this. I had no idea. And he was like, it's cute, right? And I was like, I guess so. But it was kind of cute, just in a way that monkey had never seen before. At the time, I wasn't used to finding amphibians cute either. Not that I didn't think they were cute. It was just not a thing that was a big part of monkey's brain at the time, I guess. And so I stared at it for a while. And actually back then it was nice. My desk had this sort of plexiglass cover. It might have been a gift from my papa as well, come to think about it. He was like, you can put it in your desk. Because I can put it under the plexiglass and then it can show up through that under the desk. It was a great design, actually. I would love to have something like that again. Not that I can see my desk right now, because monkey is actually a very messy monkey. But all that aside, he was like, put it in your desk. Put it in your desk. I was like, well, okay, I guess. So he helped me put it in the desk, because it's a little heavy, right? The monkey got some help. I was like, well, he wants me to do it, so I'll do it. And so it sat there in my desk for a while. For a while? Forever, really. Until monkey moved out of that desk, I guess. And so I kind of just got used to it. This little axolotl sitting on my desk, looking up at me. Yeah, hello. And so I came to sort of identify with them a little bit as just like little friends, you know? Friends that apparently for some reason monkey is supposed to really enjoy. Turns out, I guess I do. I wasn't expecting it at the time, but it grew on me. It grew on me for sure. If you see a polar bear, it can catch you and has been following you for days. Oh, I have heard this. Kind of scary. Oh, you know where I might have heard this? Not so much about the it's been following you, but sort of the dangers of spotting a polar bear. What was it? There's an anime. There's an anime called A Place Farther Than the Universe. It's really good. Was it from the anime? No, it wasn't from the anime. They didn't do that in the anime. What was it then? Was it an anime? Was it a short story? Maybe it was a short story? It was a short story. It was a short story called The 12 Doors of January, perhaps? Something like that. Or was it called... No, it was called The Midnight Library. Monkey brain. Gears turning, gears turning. It was The Midnight Library. That's exactly what it was. It just reminded me of the anime because they both take place in... or at least a part of this book takes place in the Antarctic research team, as well as the majority of A Place Farther Than the Universe taking place there. So I kind of had the imagery from the anime in my head when I was reading the book. The book itself is not about the Antarctic, but there's a portion that takes place there. It's a pretty good book, but I hold off on. I don't say go out and get it right away without the disclaimer that it is not a happy book, but it is a hopeful book. It's a very and this is not a spoiler because it starts off this way from the very beginning. It's a very depression perspective book, like a really comes strongly from the perspective of someone who's truly experienced depression and is able to put that feeling into words on the page somehow. A little bit like Eva. And yeah. So the Midnight Library is like the place that it's almost like this limbo between life and death. It's well written though. I enjoyed it a lot. Anyhow, I should keep going. Ever had haggis? Tastes pretty good. Probably terrible for you. Is it terrible for you? Really? Well, what makes it terrible for you? I've never had it. I've heard the word a lot, but I don't think it's easy to get around here, and I don't know anyone who knows how to make it. But I'm curious. There are other animal parts that Monkey likes that are non-meat animal parts. Baba is chat? Baba is chat. You know, come to think of it, the majority of organ meat that monkeys had is either Chinese or Japanese. Either yakitori style. Speaking of which, chicken hearts are incredibly good in yakitori. I was shocked. They have something about them. Texture or something? I don't know. But I've had yakitori style, and I've had a lot of Chinese soups will often have things like, oh, I love tripe. Tripe is great. Intestines, monkey is they're alright. Not really my thing. But tripe is monkey's thing all the way. It's like jellyfish, but a little more al dente and with little fun little bumps on it. It's great. But yeah, I've never had haggis. I don't know if I've had very much European style organ meat, I guess. Aside from say sausage casing, which you don't really taste. Baba is chat. Baba is chat. Baba was chat all along. I see. Kind of like how I'm sure you're the best monkey. No. I think I get it. No. That's different. That's different. Hold up. Wait a second. Monkey was not expecting this turnaround. Hold up. Oh dear. I know. Oh, hello, Ven Builds. Welcome. Mating evolved before the brain. That's why the culture around it can be very stupid. Oh! You know, Mongoose, that makes a lot of sense. Because, sexual reproduction, as they call it, as opposed to asexual reproduction, occurs even in plants, right? It's been around for a very long time. You can see that it had to be around since at least the time of the common ancestor of plants and animals, right? So somehow it just happens. But with plants, for example, since it's not directed by a nervous system or something, the strategies are different. I wonder at what point the strategies for sexual reproduction started to commingle with the developing consciousness. And become interdependent, basically, over time. Probably the systems got so entangled that it just assumed generational knowledge would continue. And if it was broken, who knows what would happen, because it never had to deal with that. Because it was dealing with just a situation of generational knowledge. Whoa, monkey brain. Monkey brain is impressed. This is kind of cool. I find this kind of thing really cool. Oh. Some cultures have a female destroyer deity, or an unmother, if you will. Oh, you know, that makes sense. Because the association with females and bringing life, and motherhood too, in humans is a very strong aspect of the biology and culture, right? And so, an easy way to make horror, I don't know about easy, but a way to make people uncomfortable, for sure, is to take something that feels inherently good and then turn it on its head and make it bad, right? Like the idea of a mother is a very comfortable archetype, right? And so what if it was the opposite, right? And that dissonance is what makes it scary. Oh. Plus, why not have the opposite power, right? If you have the power to create, then do you not also have the power to destroy? How would anyone know? Perhaps you are in charge of both life and death. Fascinating. That's cool. That's really interesting. Yeah. And it's why, in Chinese culture, and in a lot of cultures, in most cultures, the actually highly coincidental menstrual cycle and moon cycles being roughly the same, did not evade people, because humans especially are programmed to find patterns, right? Whether those patterns are significant or not. And in this case, we're pretty sure it's coincidental. But because of that similar length of cycle, the women were often in many cultures associated with the moon, which then associated them with nighttime and other things like that. It's why in Chinese yin yang, for example, now I say this is why, I don't know, I'm not a researcher, but it just makes sense to me that's why the yin part, the part that's representing black, or represented by black, represents things like women and the moon, and this whole category that builds up. If you decide to break things into a binary, the where things go, And in fact, the yin part is therefore associated with like life. Black is associated with life in traditional Chinese culture, whereas white is actually therefore associated with death as its opposite. Even though white is associated with vitality in terms of light, like sunlight, and black, being dark, is associated with slow, gentle, methodical subtleness. And so these associations, they build up in really interesting ways that are very cultural, right? Because I believe in European culture, I'm not sure where this comes from because I'm not as familiar, but in European culture, white is associated with life and black is associated with death, because the breaking into binaries and categorization happened probably just with a different train of logic, right? The Chinese train of logic probably followed the women are on the black side and they make life, and so black is life. And it's rich and stuff like that. Then you can start adding nuance there. The richness of black for life, whereas the paleness of white for death. That sort of thing. And that doesn't evade the West either, because binaries are all fake to begin with, right? They're just ways of categorizing things to help our brains keep a lot of information without having to hold on to all of it, because we can't hold on to that much at once. So the binary just helps with that. And you can see that in the West, even though white is associated with life and black is associated with death, white is still also associated with paleness and shrouds and things like that. There's still this association of white with death because no matter what, we see these connections throughout our cultures, right? It's just which ones we decide to emphasize, to build up and then build further culture off of as like more of a pillar as opposed to a background thing. I don't know, I find this kind of thing interesting. Maybe it's gibberish. More confusing monkey. Maybe the title is correct. Puzzling monkey. But not in the puzzling pun sense that I meant. Just straight up literally. Puzzling monkey. At this point, I almost think maybe I just turn this into a just chatting stream and I'll change... I'll change the thumbnail later so people don't come here being like, where is Baba? I came here to see Baba. I think they just found out. Like how we used to touch everything in sight as a baby, or put things in mouth we shouldn't, like non-edibles, and by accident poof, a baby spawned. You know, Ahiki, I believe that actually. I believe that at least for humans, there is a failsafe built into the system. That failsafe works very similarly to what you're talking about. For children, for example, there's a very strong learning period, and that's why babies are touching things and putting things in their mouths and things like that. A learning period allows them to pick up lots and lots just from experiencing the world. At the same time, their brains are very plastic and aware, and so things that you say that seem insignificant to you get coded away into their brains. It's a really, really cool period of brain development where everything just like sinks in. Like even like language. It's the same thing as picking up a language just from having it around you as a baby. So that's why you're touching things and all of that stuff. Now the thing is, that is a failsafe in that if you left a baby in the wild, they could probably figure out how to survive, but they wouldn't necessarily survive well, right? They wouldn't. A lot of them would probably succumb to things that they wouldn't if they had childcare and an adult telling them, no, don't do that, so that they don't have to learn via experience, right? Basically, they'll never have to poison themselves to identify poisons, for example. And poisoning yourself as a baby is a very dangerous business. You may not make it, so it's still helpful to have the generational knowledge and just a caretaker in general. But I do think that feral humans would survive. They're not completely helpless. As some animals end up being almost completely helpless if they're too used to relying on other systems. Kind of like a symbiote that's been taken away from its symbiotic partner. But I do think that probably reproduction, at least in humans, falls under there in that eventually someone's gonna figure it out. You might not all figure it out perfectly, but I think the failsafe... Trying not to get too graphic here, but the failsafe is in the highly testosteroned male build. You know, like if there are builds of like Gundams, like the Gundam build. There's the like Gundam type build. Well, this is the male type build. The typical male type build is full of testosterone, especially at a certain part in their life, and then maybe even beyond that, just pumped full of testosterone. That makes guys of a certain age, from what Monkey has heard, and I don't know how common this is, because people don't really talk about it in human culture right now. For whatever reason, human culture has entered a period where a lot of this generational knowledge is like only presented in very subtle ways and therefore perhaps even lost. There's a period where for lack of a better comparison, maybe this is a bad comparison to make, but like how dogs will just try to mate with anything, I think the human drive, if you don't know any better, may lead to similar behavior. And through trial and error, that should work out eventually, right? Eventually, it'll point you in the right direction, maybe. Some people still get it wrong. Apparently, it's not too hard to get it wrong, especially if you have a little bit of the generational knowledge, but not all of it, so you don't fully get what you're being told to do. Maybe it's easier if you don't have the generational knowledge in that case. Like incomplete generational knowledge versus just going on instinct. I don't know. But I think that enough humans would make it happen that the human race would survive. Maybe not everyone. Not everyone would get it right, but enough. Then there's the triumvirate of maiden, mother, and crone. They had that sort of thing in Greek myth and stuff, right? Is it very different from, like, boy, man, and whatever you called an old man? Are old mans also crones? Norse lore is insanity. It is really cool complex lore systems are a lot of fun. I think a lot of cultures had them actually. And it's always fun to learn about new ones. Speaking of which, GOW Ragnarok, Game of War Ragnarok, made some odd decisions. Oh, no spoilers, please. Yeah, that is an interesting comment in and of itself. And yeah, from there, maybe we'll do no spoilers then, especially since it was requested. Thank you, Mongoose. I appreciate the zipped. Odd decisions, though. I guess that's the liberty of dealing with myth. And in fact, in some ways, Monkey was thinking about this recently. By doing so, it's almost more in line with the spirit of the original stories to go in and change things to make them interesting, you know? That's kind of the canon of the way stories were originally told in human cultures, right? Which I think is really cool. We don't have a lot of that nowadays because of things like copyright protection and stuff like that, which I totally understand copyright protection. I understand where that comes from. But it also, in some ways, prevents the culture of just storytelling and changing your stories and that sort of thing. Which I think is really wonderful, too. I hope that culture starts to burgeon a bit. Also, I apologize. There's a lot of, as Kiara says, there's a lot of banging going on upstairs, I think. So I apologize if that's coming through the mic. Whooper is based off an axolotl. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because the typical axolotl color is that sort of blue-black. And the albino ones are popular, like I said, probably because they have that smile on their face. That's Monkey's guess. They have that smile on their face that makes them look really cute. So a lot of the times when you see like depictions of axolotls or stuff, you'll see the white-pink version. But blue-black is the more common coloration. Non-meat animal parts. Nails and horns? Well, I guess I don't mean non-meat. Non-muscle. That's probably what I was thinking. Non-muscle animal parts. That being said, nails and horns... I don't think monkeys ever eaten like claws or horns or anything. But bones you can sometimes eat. Sometimes you can eat the whole bone, and sometimes when you can't eat the whole bone, you can eat the marrow, and I don't know if that counts as meat either. Are bones meat? What is meat? At hemoglobin. That is what makes gelatin. I can't eat that stuff. Oh, you're right. I have eaten it in gelatin form. Gelatin monkey likes. Do you have an allergy, Mongoose? I didn't know there was like gelatin intolerance? So much knowledge. No, just monkey. Monkey too wise, just monkey. No. Just the regular monkey. But Baba has been here all along. Baba, it's you after all. Baba is with us always. I guess that makes sense. Oh. I don't know if binaries as such are fake. We usually know when a thing is not something else. Like an egg is not a car. I guess this gets into the question of what does it mean to be fake? Which is kind of its own big old question. The way that Monkey kind of meant it is that they are cognitive constructions, binaries, you know? Because while an egg is not a car, egg and car is not a binary either, right? And additionally, when you get too down into the weeds of things, where does the egg start and stop? Like, when does it become an egg? When does it become a car? These are all kind of also made up concepts to help us conceptualize and like move around in the world, exist in the world and interact with it. These concepts help us make these distinctions when really there's no clear distinction between, say, the molecules of an egg and the surrounding air. So binaries being fake, I don't mean that they have no value or that they are completely without logic. I simply mean that they are heuristics. Heuristics is what our brains kind of run on. We don't have algorithms. We don't have things that are true down to the last, like, zero logical flaws. We have things that work well enough, seem to work, and so we go with that. And that's completely valuable, in Monkey's opinion. It's just also helpful, or at least to Monkey, interesting, to look at those every once in a while, to step back and say, hey, that's not a real thing in the world. We made that up. Isn't that kind of cool? In Monkey's opinion. Here, you're gonna love this. Oh! Oh, thank you, Ryder. Potato. I do love potato. Thank you, Ryder. Well, I'm sure that I wouldn't survive as a baby. I don't think I'm allowed to describe the foul acts I committed as an infant. Oh. Oh, I don't know what that means, but I see. Well, it is helpful that the way that culture is structured now and all of that, there's a high survivability chance for things that might have been that might have been deadly in the past. Wallace and Gromit meet Tianshi. Oh, hello, Cheesecake. Welcome. Are you sure, Mongoose? I've heard there are eggmobiles out there. Volkswagens, one could say! Volkswagens! I don't know why that one gets to me. Volkswagen. Oh, Volkswagen. Where can I buy this Volkswagen, right? I would like a Volkswagen. That sounds cute. I like that. I find it really funny how human pattern recognition went from avoiding predators to finding Among Us characters everywhere. Now that you mention it, Geronimo, those do seem rather linked, don't they? Using the same neural pathways. Oh dear. Myth is codified. The Norse actually believed this stuff to some degree, so just saying, well, none of it is real anyway. Not sure how to word it, but not a fan. Oh yes, I see what you mean. That's not quite what Monkey meant either. I apologize if I said something like that. It's not quite what I mean. It's kind of like how... Though the way I meant it is in the same way that you might look at an egg and say, well, I know this is an egg. I call this an egg. But what makes it an egg? Why is it an egg? And slowly realizing that it's an egg because you call it an egg. You know, that sort of feeling. Again, I don't mean that there's not a sense of logic, or a sense of purpose, or a sense of meaning, a sense of, even a sense of truth, I guess? So being fake doesn't make something not true? Does that make sense? Monkey has a strange relationship with the truth, I think. And sometimes I consider it levels of abstraction. The way Monkey likes to think of things is like, I know an egg is not real, but I'm definitely eating something, and that's a thing, and so I'm gonna call that thing an egg. I know that things aren't real, there's no such thing as a thing, but I am a creature who operates on thinking about things. So it is a thing, and this thing I will call it an egg. And I'm not gonna worry about all the rest, because the rest doesn't matter, you know? It's just fun to think about sometimes. Not in any way trying to devalue the various myths and belief systems and other things out there. I don't think that there's a strong difference between that and anything else, right? I think it makes to me as much sense as language. You might say that, like, why does good have a good connotation in English? well, that's just the way we, it makes sense. That's the way it is. And there's not a truth or an untruth about it. It's just... Now Monkey's getting into things that I really don't have good words for. I hope it's kind of getting across what I'm trying to say. I'm not sure. My intolerance to gelatin is purely aesthetic. Oh, really? Really? Oh, interesting. What about it, I guess? So you don't like gelatin? So I'm guessing Jello type desserts that are just basically flavored gelatin you're not a big fan of. What about gelatin-like desserts like Kunten? Have you heard of Kunten? Or grass jelly? These aren't made of gelatin, but so they have slightly different textures, if it's a texture thing. And then there's desserts that are gelatin-based, but have a slightly different texture because they're not fully gelatin-based. Like a lot of mass-produced marshmallows. I don't know if marshmallows in general have to be made with gelatin or not, but I know a lot of mass-produced marshmallows have gelatin in them. Does that sort of thing bother you? I'm just curious, because I hadn't considered that it's a thing people might have an aversion to, aside from the not wanting to eat animal stuff in general. But I can't breathe eggs. Can you though? Cause like smell is breathing, right? Smell is something that's in the air that you breathed in, and then some of it attaches to your smell. Smell receptors, and tells you what you're smelling. And the things that attach to your smell receptors are small particles of whatever it is you're smelling, right? Small particles that have broken off from whatever it is you're smelling. So if you cook an egg, and then you can smell it, if you're smelling an egg, are you not breathing an egg? Monkey just thought of that, just now. Whoa. Are you breathing an egg? Maybe. As an aside, as we approach the 2-hour mark... Oh, we are approaching it, aren't we? I feel I should ask, how are we on time today? Oh, thank you, Shatter. Thank you. Today is not like Monkey has to run immediately, but it'd be good if Monkey stayed on time. So, let's try to cut it off right around the 2-hour mark. Thank you, Shatter. That's very helpful. It looks like we got about 10 minutes. So I'll try to at least catch up to chat. Seems like egg jokes really crack up. Maybe you're right. Why? Why though? Why eggs? I don't know. Eggs are great. Maybe it's because Monkey likes eggs. Maybe there's something inherently humorous about eggs for Monkey. I have no idea. It cracked me up. It's true. I don't know why. The mundanity of it? Eggs are just great. The imagery? You never said it, but I have heard it used. Ah, I see. I'm glad I didn't accidentally say something that sounded like that, though. I definitely don't feel that way. I find all belief systems to have their own value to them, right? And I don't want to belittle any of them. Monkey got lost. Where am I? Oh, eggs aren't real? Then how is our breakfast gonna be? If eggs aren't real, how will we bake pão de queijo? That's true! Well, you see, pão de queijo is also not real. And breakfast is also not real. Like, if you think about it, if you really had to decide what defines any of these things, and you go really, really way too far about it like Monkey does, you'll find that none of these definitions make any sense. None of these definitions actually define anything. Like, how would you define an egg? Is an egg a real thing in the world? Or is an egg a concept that we apply to real things in the world, to a collection of matter that fits our mental prototype of what an egg should be. And if that's the case, then egg is simply a cognitive idea. It's simply a construct that has no objective meaning, but is useful for understanding the world and communication. Where do the chickens come from? Are there chickens? What are chickens? Is a chicken still a chicken if it doesn't have any feathers? Is a chicken still a chicken if it's I don't know. If it's only a wing, is a chicken wing still a chicken? Or does it have to be the whole chicken? But what about a chicken without a wing? How many pieces can you remove and it's still a chicken? We're getting existential. That we are. Monkey is often, occasionally, existential. Oh dear. Agar stuff, yeah. Oh, you don't like agar either, huh? Because agar is made of a plant, and it has a bit of a... I don't know how else to put it. Like a crisper, crunchier texture. It's still jello-y, but it's got a different texture. Oh, I can handle it. Oh, interesting. I just don't want to eat rendered hoof if I can avoid it. Oh, I wonder where that comes from. Oh, are there certain body parts that people are averse to eating? I suppose so. I suppose I have heard that kind of thing. Interesting. So it's just a conceptual thing then. So if you didn't know, it would be fine? Don't tell Mongoose. If something has gelatin in it, don't tell Mongoose. So Mongoose can still enjoy it, huh? Or would you rather know? Is that something you would rather know, Mongoose? Would you rather we not lie to you? All I know is that I'm a thing. Probably. Can you know something probably, Geronimo? Well, if it's probably, do you still know it? And my salad's a thing. Is it? At what point does it stop being salad? So, this is a great example. If you're eating a salad, first of all, what makes a salad? Like, why is an egg salad called a salad even though it doesn't look like a garden salad? Anyways, while you're eating a salad, slowly taking out the pieces and consuming them, at what point does the stuff in your bowl cease to be a salad? Or does it remain a salad even when the only thing left is like a single slice of olive? Is that still a salad because it used to be part of a salad? I don't know. How about half of that? You take a bite out of that little slice of olive and now there's only half an olive. Is that still a salad? What about in your belly? Is that still a salad? It's mixing with your acids and stuff. Is it still a salad? IDK if it's truly a salad. But it's a thing that I'm eating, so it has to be real. And since it's real, it's a thing. So it's a salad. Oh, I see. So that's the layers of abstraction that I'm talking about, right? Like, it's okay as long as you qualify things as things that need names, then you gotta give it a name, then it'll be a salad. Sure. But the question is, what is a thing, then? What makes something a thing? Like, for example, what makes a salad a thing? Because if it has multiple pieces to it, then how can a collection of things be a thing by itself, right? Is a collections of things really a thing? And if that's the case, then how about any arbitrary collection of things? So if I say your salad as well as the plate or bowl that it's in, is that also a thing? That's also a thing, right? Because it's also a collection of things. But it doesn't have a name, but it's still a thing. So why does salad get a special name when salad plus bowl doesn't get a special name? And if everything is things, then is anything a thing? Right? Like, why make the distinction between, say, the salad and the bowl and the air surrounding it. Altogether, that group of stuff is a thing, right? We don't have a name for it. If you named it, it would be a thing. But that means that you have to apply your own cognitive function to define the thing for it to be a thing. So the concept of things is itself a concept, rather than something that exists in the real world. If this distinction only exists because of your cognition, how can it be an objective truth? I think Geronimo is onto something. I agree though. I agree with Geronimo. This is in terms of like, this is how monkey functions in the world. I just say, that's fine. I'm going to start with the axiom that things exist, even though I know that it's just an applied axiom that's used for heuristics. I'm going to assume things exist, and that they exist in whatever my brain decides is a thing. And then start naming them and function in the world that way. Because that's how we're supposed to function. There's no reason not to. Just because something's not real, again, I'm gonna put this out there again. Just because something's not real does not mean that it doesn't have value. That's how monkey feels. In fact, it's the unreal things that we apply to things, that we apply to the world, that give consciousness all of its color, all of its beautiful, wonderful color. Because beauty, as they say, is in the eye of the beholder, right? If you truly believe that, then it means that beauty is one of these made-up things. And that means that making things up is beautiful, in Monkey's opinion. Seeing the world through these distorted lenses are what allows beauty to happen. And so, not being real, some people, especially in the, post-Renaissance age, start to think that the only things that have value are things that we can concretely prove as objectively true. And while that's fun stuff to think about too, I don't think it's the only stuff with value. I think the untrue is in some ways just as valuable. In that it lets us see the beauty of the world. It's just wonderful. Oh my goodness, it is it is now the 2-hour mark. So I'm gonna stop ranting and just try to catch up. I will try not to go on any large tangents while I catch up, so at least I can respond to all of you before I run off. Let's see. BRB, gonna go breathe an egg real quick. You know, Ryder, the way I described it, now I want to go breathe an egg. That sounds delicious. Turns out, Baba were our conversation all along. JK, it's true. Maybe Baba isn't real. It was just the Baba we made along the way. By real, do you mean a category that objective reality bends around? I guess by real, and this is important, right? When you're gonna talk philosophy, you gotta define your terms, because terms are slippery. And if you're not talking about the same thing, you can't have an interesting conversation. Well, you can have an interesting conversation, but it's harder. So to get us on the same page, in this particular instance, when I say real, I am referring to a reality that exists whether you think about it or not, basically. Where the subjective self, the subjective mind, is not a requisite. And of course, then we get into what is objective reality, which Monkey does believe is unprovable. I will just put that out there. Monkey does believe that using pure logic, it is impossible to prove that an objective reality even exists. So, objective reality, in that sense, we cannot prove. But taking as an axiom that an objective reality may exist, and we may be observing that in some way, how much of what we observe is actually objective is kind of the question that Monkey is posing here. How much, as you try to pick away the subjectivity with which we observe our environment, how much is left that we can consider the shadows of the objective world? The way that the world would be if we were not applying our own lenses and filters to it. And this is, of course, again, since I don't believe that an objective world is provable, I think this is an exercise that intentionally has no solution. Or not intentionally. Some people might go at this exercise with the intention that it has a solution. Monkey believes that it has no solution, but that it is just simply a really fun and interesting exercise because Monkey likes to question things. I guess that's just the way Monkey is. I find it fun. I know not everyone finds it fun, so I apologize if Monkey's going off on a tangent, an otaku tangent about questioning everything in the world. But I just find it so interesting to question your own personal preconceived notions, your own inbuilt preconceived notions of even the existence of this concept of thing. I don't know. I find it really cool. It makes me go, oh. For me, there's a beauty in that. I went on a tangent again. I'm sorry. I can't help myself. I'll try to keep them short. I rather not think too much or and paranoid. Oh, that's fair, Hiki. That's fair. You know, Monkey has that problem too. Monkey is the type of person who has a really active mind, as you may or may not have been able to tell. Sometimes Monkey's mind gets really active, and so if it goes on the wrong trains, like it gets on the wrong set of rails, it can get really caught in paranoid or anxious thoughts. But on the right set of rails, I actually find it's not a problem at all. When I'm on the set of rails that doesn't lead to anxiety, the thoughts are just fun and beautiful, you know? And I hope that for you, regardless of what level of deep thinking you enjoy, that you find a set of rails that is the right level for you, that is also comfortable and fun for you. Is Tianshi real? I don't know. Somehow I don't think so. Tianshi real? I hope so. Oh, thank you, Shatter. Well, on this level of abstraction, where we have things like we have eggs, and we have cars, and we have chickens, and we have monkeys, and we have sofas, and we have tables, and we have the tea club, and we have chat, and we have language. Monkey is real. So, as long as we're at that layer of abstraction, right? Like the difference between the Pokemon you see in the game and the electrons running around in the background. At the level of electrons, Pokemon aren't real. But that's okay, because in the game, Pokemon are still real. And that's Monkey's excited about that, by the way. Few more days until Pokemon Day. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I got the physical pre-order, so hopefully it arrives. Hopefully it arrives promptly. I'm hype. I'm excited. Oh, that's a real tangent. We're not going into that. I think the construct maps onto something that we have observed. The signifier is not the signified, but together they form a sign. It's called semiotics by some. Ah, wonderful! Thank you for giving me the name. Monkey has not done enough of formal philosophical study to really know the names of a lot of things, because I prefer my inquiry to be sort of the what if wondering type, or the chatting with other people type of inquiry. Reading philosophy is kind of difficult for Monkey because it does get really dense, because you have to define everything so strongly, because you can't just be like, okay, right now between the two of us, this is what I'm trying to say, you know? That's why I haven't read too much of it, I guess. But I find it a lot of fun. Semiotics, I have heard this term before. Yeah. And I think that's really cool. Like, we are signifying something, and that's the other cool thing, right? You could say that in that way, if you, rather than defining real as something that exists as a concept, if you're saying real as in probably physically exists in an objective reality, then yes, the bundle of matter that you are calling an egg does exist as a bundle of matter. All the other things you're thinking about it may or may not exist in the world, but it is a bundle of matter that you have pointed out and given a signifier. The signifier doesn't have any true meaning behind it, right? There's no significance, perhaps, in an objective sense to the signifier. The only significance is to the subjective observer. However, it is probably a bundle of matter that exists. Just like the salad bowl and the air around it. If I gave it a name, like Fred exists. Well, actually, Fred's a concept in my head right now, so Fred does not exist. But Fred theoretically could exist. And you could define your next salad bowl with the air around it as Fred. And then Fred would exist. But Fred would exist as just that bundle of matter. If I said anything else about Fred, I don't know if it would be true or not, but there's probably something there as far as we can tell from our own subjective viewpoints, perspectives. Yeah, perceptions. It comes from seeing a kid eat a lump of aspic as a kid. Oh, you know, I don't know what your experience was, and I'm sorry that it affected you so deeply, because aspic is delicious. I don't know what to say. When Monkey sees soups that solidify, for example, Monkey gets really, really excited, because that means when you heat it up, it's gonna be super delicious. Aspic is delicious. I don't know. But I understand food preferences and also personal, like, being turned off by certain things. That's totally valid. Totally valid. The salad of Theseus is an interesting conundrum. The salad of Theseus, yes! The salad of Theseus, yes. I like it. Like, that's such a great image, Chatter. Like, you're eating a salad, and then say you're like sibling. You have siblings, right? So you kind of get what I'm talking about. Your sibling sitting next to you, and they're supposed to be eating their salad, but they don't want to eat their salad. So they're putting their salad into your salad as you eat your salad, and so your salad is continually being replenished with pieces of salad from another salad. And at what point does the salad you're eating cease to be your salad and start to be their salad? Or was it their salad all along? Or was it your salad all along? Oh dear, oh dear. I love that image. IMO, the food keeps its name as long as it's on majority. Example, when someone is cooking meat but puts so much condiments, leaves vegetables, then say, that's not meat with salad. That's a salad with meat. Oh. I have so much I want to respond to that, Enhiki, but to keep it short, I like that. I think that's a really interesting conception. I want to like play around with it, see where the holes are, that kind of thing. I think anything can be a thing, yes. Ah, okay. So you've got that sort of way of looking at it. That makes sense. That makes sense too. That's why it's also important to define what Monkey means by real or fake, right? I'm not saying that the matter itself is fake, but just that the idea of grouping these things together and placing a significance on that grouping is entirely subjective. I'm no longer sure salads exist. Okay, let's bring it back. Let's bring it back to the level of abstraction that is functional in the daily world. Don't worry, salads are a thing. They're delicious. Most salads are delicious. I guess you can have an undelicious salad, just like you can have an undelicious anything if it's not made well. What does it mean to be... Anyway. Don't worry, it exists, it exists. It's objectively true in the sense that even if I don't know what it is, 100% I am looking at it. Yeah. I get what you mean. For me, everything in the world has its value and meaning. I'm not a fan of the idea that they are small so meaningless. Bacteria are small and can exterminate species. Atoms are small and important. Yeah. Monkey loves the small. Monkey loves the small because that's where a lot of the beauty is as well, right? Oh, I could go into that too, but... Thank you for the stream. Oh, thank you, Shatter! Preemptively as Monkey reaches near the end. Thank you. That's actually really, really kind of you. Thank you for the stream, though. Thank you, Shatter, for coming. We may not have been Baba today. We may not have been. But it's always fun talking with you. It's fun talking with you too. I had a great time. Hashtag love Tianshi. Just hi monkey. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We may not have been Baba. But then again, maybe we were. Who knows? That's what I mean by objective reality. I think I see what you're meaning there too. Which is its own interesting conversation, right? Like, this is why defining things in philosophy, in some cases, Monkey finds it one of the most fun parts about talking philosophy with someone is coming up with, okay, what definitions are we using this time? You know? What definitions are we using? And what can we extrapolate from that? Because defining it that way, you can go off on a whole other tangent that Monkey doesn't have time for right now. But maybe next time. For the record, I enjoy Nal's otaku tangents. Oh, thank you, Shatter. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. Sometimes Monkey gets that sort of otaku energy and I'm glad you enjoy it. Fred Pog. Fred. Next time you see Fred, say hi. Well, my country heuristically abstracts as aspic is just lumps of gelatin with stuff in it. Oh, interesting, interesting. For me, when I think about aspic, I think about the stuff that you get when you make like a bone broth, when you make a soup base out of like leftover chicken bones and stuff like that. And which is really, really delicious. You can make it out of like bone broth, out of like pork bone broth and stuff like that too. The small is where the beauty is. The monkey is small, and so monkey is beautiful. Wait a second. Wait a second. Hashtag love Tianshi ticket. Oh, Hiki, oh, Hiki, oh dear, oh dear. Oh dear. I Oh dear. Thank you. I don't know about that, but thank you. I don't know. I don't have time to worm myself out of that one. Thanks for the stream now. Thank you, Hiki. It was great chatting with you. I also had a great time with y'all. Hope the rest of your day be blessed. You too, Hiki. You too. At what point does the salad become Baba? I guess when you put the is between it. Thanks for the stream. Hashtag love you. Thank you, Ryder. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you had a good time. My dad's a philosopher. Oh, that's really cool, Geronimo. No wonder you know so many things and you've thought about this kind of stuff before. My dad's a philosopher, and yet I've never had a conversation this complex before. I see. It's just kind of been around you your whole life. Well, that's really cool, though. Really cool. I'm down to have more of these kinds of conversations if you are. I enjoy it a lot. I think it's a lot of fun. Thank you for the stream. Oh, thank you for coming. It was very relaxing to listen to. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I had a great time. I had a great time chatting with all of you. This was so much fun. You distracted me so much. There was no Baba. No Baba today. I will go back and change some of that in the title and stuff. Oh dear. But thank you so much. This was wonderful. Oh man, this is the first time we completely failed our mission for the stream, isn't it? But we failed in the best way possible. I did. The stream really helped me pass the time. It was very fun. Aw, I'm glad to hear that, Ryder. Thank you so much for coming. Thanks for the stream. It was a real nice time. Oh, I'm glad you thought so, Geronimo. I had a lot of fun. Thank you for coming and chatting with Monkey, too. And thank you everyone who came by and chatted with Monkey. Mongoose, Who else haven't I said thank you to yet? But thank you, hemoglobin. Just gonna scroll through real quick, grab some names. Okay, I don't have time to scroll through everyone who talked today, but it was a great stream. So thank you so much. I had a wonderful time. I look forward to next time. I believe we should be on for Thursday this week. Later this month, it's gonna get a little bit more confusing. I might have to cancel some streams here and there, but this week should be okay. So I'll let you know. I'll keep you up to date. And quick final reminders: karaoke happening in exactly 1 month-ish. Exactly-ish. So look forward to that, and look forward to the announcements. And also look forward to announcements on YouTube, because Monkey has community tab. So yes. Alright, thank you all so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. No, thank you, hemoglobin. I have a plan for something to show up on Discord soon. Okay, I'll look forward to that too then, Ryder. Schrödinger karaoke. It will happen, I promise. Schrödinger's karaoke. We will open the box. And there will be karaoke inside. I do like that though, Hiki. Schrödinger's karaoke. The Heisen karaoke. An Anglosphere month is inexact anyway. True. That's a good point, hemoglobin. Are months real? Alright, here we go. Bye-bye. Ryder's saying it for me. Bye-bye. Well, before that, I have to say... And with this meeting of the Tianshi Club is now officially adjourned. Thank you all so much for coming, really. Oh my goodness, we're almost 20 minutes over. Okay then, for real now. Thank you all so much, and bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye.